Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or early morning, depending on where you are and when you're watching this. I wanted to come today and share something with you that has meant a lot to me in this day specifically. And I want to talk about a very simple technique that you can use to shift out of anxiety. And this in particular is the election edition. So obviously things are very elevated. There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of stress, and many of us feel like we have a lot riding on what happens in the next couple of days and who the winner of this election is. And this morning I woke up and I was feeling very anxious and very overwhelmed and sad and a little bit hopeless, if I'm honest, because to me, there's a representation in this election if the candidate I did not vote for wins, that it means that we have way too much work to do in racism, and too many people are okay with accepting racist and hateful behavior. And so that's overwhelming because I'm attaching that to the outcome of this election. And I had this realization, thankfully, there are sometimes good things that come out of social media, right? But somebody made a point. It's so true. Racism existed way before Trump, and it will continue to exist even if Biden wins this election. And so that work is not going to shift. I think that there will be some policies and things that will happen that will change and help what I value. But here's what I want to share with you. So I was in this space and I was like, this is not helpful for me or anybody around me to be in this space. And so I need to practice this one technique that I know can shift me. And here's what it is. It's gratitude. And so what I did today is I looked at the very thing that was giving me anxiety. And I said, what are the things that I can find to be grateful for in that exact area? So for me, and I know this is not everybody's idea around the election, but I know it's many of us, that there's a representation here that we're making backward motion in the areas of racism and hate, right? That can be a forefront. So that's an issue for me that I'm attaching to this election. Whatever it is that you're attaching to this election and the anxiety and the fear that you're feeling around what may or may not happen or transpire, or if your candidate wins or doesn't win, listen, our battles are still going to exist, whoever the leader is. And whatever you're passionate about, it's not like the election is going to shift that and make it the world's not going to be exactly as you hoped just because. So I want to share with you the things that I created in my gratitude for this exact area. So I'm shifting away from the feeling of overwhelm and hopelessness and bitterness and, judgment of people around me. That's honestly, those things were happening in me. I'm like, I want to shift those things into a place of peace and calm and thankfulness and hope. And just practicing gratitude can do that. So here's what I wrote, and I want to encourage you to think about what can you be grateful for right now in the area that's giving you anxiety. And so if that's around the election, what are you most anxious about? And where in that exact area can you find gratitude and gratefulness? So here's what I wrote for me. I'm grateful that in 2020, the number of people recognizing racism and hate and wanting to fight it has increased dramatically. That's a truth, and I'm thankful for that. I am grateful that we had a record voter turnout in this country. So regardless of how it ends, I am thankful that people are exercising their right to vote and they are doing it. I am thankful for this. I am grateful that there are many people who've been fighting these battles ahead of me for many years, who have gone through so much more, and they stick with it and they're still fighting. And if they haven't given up, then I don't need to give up. They have gone ahead of me and fought harder battles. I don't have to give up. I'm grateful that I have seen change in people that I know personally, people who before would have not had a care about justice and equality and now do. I've seen conversations happen. I'm grateful for having had conversations where people were open to hearing and understanding in a way that they hadn't before. I am grateful for these things. And when I read this list, there is no way that it doesn't shift my energy. It automatically shifts my energy from feeling hopeless and angry and anxious into feeling a sense of peace, calm, and hopefulness. And regardless of what happens, coming from that place gives me the energy to keep going and knowing that I'm called to something bigger than what's happening in these few days, these next few years. This is something that's important for me in my life. What is the thing that's important for you in your life? And how can you move today from anxiousness into gratitude, which leads you into peace and hope? This is an exercise that can really shift what's happening. And so rather than focusing today on um, biting against the people who I don't agree with or are saying things that upset me and anger me, I'm going to focus on the gratitude that there are people saying the things that I think need to be said, and there's more of them now than there were before, and there will continue to be more regardless of what happens in the next couple of days. So I hope that's helpful for you. I would love to hear from you what your gratitude list is. How do you shift the very thing that is holding you up right now, that is making you feel like, is this ever going to change? What is your gratitude in that exact area? Share it. There is power here. I've shared this list now with multiple people, and each time people come back and are like, thank you, that has helped me think differently about where I'm struggling. So I want that for you too. So share it in the comments. Tag me if you're watching this as in a replay. Just say #replay and let me know what your gratitude list is in that area. All right, let's keep on the side of hope. Let's keep on the side of believing that we still have power, and whatever we're passionate and called to do, that there are going to be ways for us to continue to do that regardless of what happens in the next few days.